Numb My Pain. Kamila Valieva published a video with an excerpt of her performance in Stories. The publication of the video was the first reaction of the figure skater and social networks after the CAS decision. The video is overlaid with a song with the words "Drown out my pain in my heart, choose, the sun will burn out, thoughts knocked out, where would we be in love?" Kamila Valieva's medals from December 25, 2021 have been cancelled. Today the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, disqualified the figure skater for 4 years, starting from December 25, 2021. On this day she passed a positive doping sample for trimetazidine. All competitive results of Kamila Valieva from December 25, 2021 are annulled with all consequences, including forfeiture of any titles, awards, medals, profits, prizes and performance money, the CAS decision reads. During this period, Valieva became an Olympic champion in the team event, 2022, the awarding was not held due to a doping case. European champion, 2022, a two-time medalist at the Russian Championships, and a medalist at the stages and finals of the Russian Grand Prix. For what the redistribution of medals will look like and how many medals Kamila Valieva has left, see our website figureskating.org at the link in the description. Valieva failed to prove that she violated anti-doping rules unintentionally. This is stated in the text of the CAS decision on the doping case of the figure skater. Valieva did not contest responsibility, as she agreed that due to the presence of trimetazidine in her sample she committed a violation under paragraph 4.1 of the Russian anti-doping rules. Less than greater than. In order for the period of ineligibility to be reduced, Valieva had to prove that she did not willfully commit an anti-doping rule violation. Having carefully considered all the evidence presented, the CAS panel concluded that Valieva failed to prove that she committed the violation unintentionally. The CAS panel emphasizes that if an athlete who is a protected person has failed to establish that he or she did not intentionally commit an anti-doping violation, then the rules provide no reason to treat them differently from adult athletes. Accordingly, it was determined that there was no possibility of applying a reduced period of ineligibility. The Commission imposed a 4-year period of ineligibility, the CAS verdict reads. Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov assessed the decision of the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, to disqualify underage Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva for 4 years for violating anti-doping rules. Of course, we do not agree with it. From my point of view, of course, a politicized decision, RIA Novosti Sport quoted Peskov as saying. How the redistribution of medals will look like and how many medals Kamila Valieva has left, see in our Telegram channel at the link in the description. Sports lawyer Anna Antsalievich told whether Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva will be able to take part in the show after the CAS disqualification. Valieva's disqualification does not apply to shows. It does not apply to any commercial events, Antsalievich said. Tatiana Tarasova called CAS scum after the verdict in Valieva's case was announced. Scum and lawless people. Of course, it is necessary to appeal against this decision. Scoundrels should be fought with their own methods. In our country, Kamila will be able to perform. She is a strong girl and can do anything. Damn them, you rotten pigs. They take out all the anger towards our country on a little girl, said the honored coach of the USSR. CAS did not consider the issue of medals of the team tournament of the Olympics 2022. The consequences related to the retroactive disqualification of Ms. Valieva for participation in past events, including participants in the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, were not within the scope of this arbitration procedure and should be verified by the relevant sports organizations, CAS said in a release. Thus, the International Olympic Committee, IOC, will decide on the possible redistribution of medals of the team tournament. It became known when the meeting of the Council of the International Skating Union, ISU, which should decide on the fate of gold medals of the team championship at the Olympic Games, 2022. According to Channel 1, it will be held on February 7. USADA CEO called the decision on Valieva's 4-year disqualification correct. This is the right outcome, and we hope that clean athletes competing in the Olympic Games can finally experience joy and fulfillment after a long wait for justice. At the same time, our hearts ache for another Russian athlete who was let down by the system, and that is a young 15-year-old girl. The system must get better, said Travis Tygart, CEO of the U.S. anti-doping agency, USADA. WADA welcomes the decision to impose a 4-year disqualification on Kamila Valieva. WADA welcomes the decision of CAS to grant the appeal and impose a 4-year disqualification on Russian Olympic Committee figure skater Kamila Valieva and to annul her results from the date of sample collection, December 25, 2021, including results shown at the 2022 Beijing Olympic Games. WADA has appealed to CAS in the interests of fairness, athletes and clean sport. We believe that justice has been achieved by this decision. WADA recognizes the frustration of the parties involved because of the time that has had to be spent on this case. No doubt WADA shares this frustration and therefore at every stage of the process, including the first instance procedures in Russia, it insisted on a speedy resolution of the case, the WADA press office said. The FFKR General Director reacted to the decision in the case of Kamila Valieva. It was hard to expect an objective decision in this situation. The Federation is not a party to the process. We received the information, it will be thoroughly analyzed. We believe that the Russian figure skaters are Olympic champions in the team event, said Alexander Kogan. Elena Vaitskolskaya spoke out about the disqualification of Kamila Valieva for 4 years. Well, that's it. The hope for a beautiful ending to the Olympic story is shattered. The IOC is yet to make a decision on Olympic medals, but it is already clear that if you subtract Valieva's points from the team result of the Beijing Games, there will be nothing optimistic in the resulting sum. In fact, this whole story is a story about substitution of notions. Hand on heart, of course, we speculated on the theme of a small innocent child who is being attacked by the world. In reality, the story is much more tragic. It is about how someone's utterly inexcusable negligence deprived Olympic gold from people whose careers were either the last games in 2022, like Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Kotsalapov, or the only ones, like everyone else. I'm not talking about the notorious trimetazine from Grandpa's glass. I'm talking about something that I personally still can't get my head around. How could it happen that an athlete with a dirty doping sample ended up at the games? And this is a question not to CAS, not to the Western provocateurs from the Swedish laboratory, but to those people who continue to manage Russian sport and figure skating in particular. Who gave them the right to so ineptly dispose of the fates of people who have been the pride of the country for many years? And is their guilt in the context of what happened less significant than the guilt of Kamila, who received a 4-year disqualification? It is clear that the questions are rhetorical, but I still want to hear the answers, the journalist wrote in her Telegram channel. WADA has called for criminalizing the inducement of children to dope. Valieva was 15 years old at the time of her positive doping sample, December 25, 2021. The use of doping against children is inexcusable. WADA calls on state authorities to consider adopting laws that would criminalize doping against minors, the organization said in a statement. Anna Pogorelaya reacted to the decision of the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CS, to disqualify Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva for 4 years for violating anti-doping rules. I haven't yet seen the details of what the court based its decision on, so it's hard to say whether it's objective or not. But I feel sorry for her as an athlete. I understand perfectly well how much time and effort the whole team of Atari Tutberidze spent. Besides, we are talking about Team Gold. But I think it will stay that way in Russia. Everyone will continue to think that it was our gold medal by right, Pogorelaya said.